Football transfers are a funny business. Sometimes a guy looks like a world beater playing for one team and utterly fails at another club. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what goes wrong sometimes, but sometimes it's very obvious from the first minute that it was a tremendous waste of money. It feels just a tad too early to put someone like Jadon Sancho on the list. I'm not saying I wasn't tempted, but this list is for players who aren't really up for debate. One of the few good things about being a Spurs fan at the time of recording is that we haven't spent enough on our flops to quite make this list. Sorry Tanguy, you tried so hard, or... well, no you didn't. These are the top 10 most expensive transfer flops in football history. Number 10, Kepa Arrizabalaga, 72 million, Athletic Bilbao to Chelsea in 2018. Manuel Neuer, Edwin van der Sar, Peter Schmeichel, Lev Yashin. Kepa's name sits about as well next to these goalkeeping greats as mine would. Chelsea got caught in a bad position when Courtois left for 30 million to Real Madrid. They were left scrambling for a replacement and Bilbao knew it. Chelsea were forced to pay the £72 million release clause for the invisible goalkeeper. Shots just seemed to fly into the Chelsea net as if there was no one there. One season clocking the lowest save percentage in the Premier League, Kepa has not lived up to his lofty price tag. His most defiant moment in a Chelsea shirt thus far has not been warding off opposition shots, but rather warding off the cries from his coach Maurizio Sarri to get off the pitch. Refusing to be substituted for the sake of allowing penalty specialist Willy Caballero on, only to lose the League Cup final on penalties, is a defining moment of his time at Chelsea so far. The fact that he's been largely outshone by Mendy, a goalkeeper who was threatened with unemployment 3 years prior, putting in vaguely competent displays, shows you just how bad Kepa has been at Stamford Bridge. Now that Mendy's also fallen off a cliff in terms of performance, at this point it's an area Chelsea will most certainly look to address again in the near future. Although personally I'd be fine with him not bothering. Number 9, Nicolas Pepe, 72 million, Lille to Arsenal 2019. Number 8, Harry Maguire, 80 million, Leicester City to Manchester United, 2019. The glorious slabhead! All bow to his fridge-like magnificence, for he shall be the herald of many years of continued mediocrity for the great Manchester United. Long may he be the captain of the end times. It's a scary day when Paul Merson is the only person in the football media who seems to have a grip on reality. But that day arrived when Harry Maguire signed for Manchester United for a frankly staggering 80 million. The Leicester centre-back was at the very best raw, but his size, mazy runs from the back, and most importantly, Englishness, saw him championed as the Rio Ferdinand replacement Man United had long been awaiting. And still are. Rafael van der Vaart once claimed that he could find many centre-backs of Maguire's standard in the Dutch second division, and given his never-ending strings of endearingly buffoonish performances costing Manchester United games, it's hard to disagree. May the fridge be with you. Number 7, Paul Pogba, 89 million, Juventus to Manchester United 2016. What a waster. The French midfielder was a controversial figure pretty much from the moment he returned to the club that Sir Alex had booted him out of. Some questioned the massive fee, while others pointed him as the best midfielder in the world and the man who could spearhead United's new wave of titles. One of these groups was correct. Pogba spent most of his time at the Red Devils needing to be unlocked by various managers, like a rusty shed, and rather like a rusty shed, it was never worth the effort. The fact that Pogba could score a nice goal on a sunny day with the wind blowing just the right way in a month of Thursdays did not even nearly justify his appalling attitude, public disrespect for the club, and dubious injuries that always seemed to occur when, let's be honest, he didn't really feel like playing. Plus, if his brother is to be believed, then he may well need to be unlocked in a very different way someday down the line. All in all, a frankly hilarious waste of money who guaranteed Man United would never find the glory days of Fergie again so long as he was a poison in the dressing room. Number 6, Usman Dambeli, approximately £92 million, Borussia Dortmund to Barcelona in 2017. Dembele burst onto the scene in a style which Micah Richards could only dream of, establishing himself as one of the brightest young stars in world football playing for Borussia Dortmund. However, things did not go well for the young Frenchman at Barcelona, as a mixture of poor form, injuries and spats with the club has seen his stock plummet. plummet. While he has found himself a place on the right wing of Barcelona for the moment, Dembele has absolutely not been the player they spent a fortune on back in 2017 in an attempt to replace the outgoing Neymar. Perhaps unfair to expect the youngster to replace the Brazilian, he's come absolutely nowhere near doing so and thoroughly deserves the title of football's first £100 million flop. His recent embarrassment of being subbed off in the first half of the World Cup while facially resembling a man going through a World War I flashback unfortunately rather sums up his career to this point. Watch him turn around his entire career just to spite me, for he most certainly watches these videos, likes and shares all of them. We love you too, Usman.
Number 5, Romelu Lukaku, 99.5 million, Inter Milan to Chelsea, 2021.
What can you even say about Chelsea and Lukaku? It's a terrible reality TV show script about the cheating couple who keep getting back together and swearing it'll be different this time, right before they break up again in more and more public fashion. Having bought him as a youngster from Anderlecht for €15 million, he never really grew into a first team place after memorably missing a penalty in the Super Cup final against Bayern Munich, and was sold to Everton for £30 million. Returning many moons later, a fully fledged star striker from a title winning season at Inter Milan, Lukaku did not do well second time round at Chelsea either. A promising start quickly faded into poor performances. After a very public spat with the club, he is now on loan to Inter once more, where he has vowed to never play for the Blues again, while they still pay half of his rather sizable wage bill. In summary, big man, bad touch, big man go bad, bad man go away, Chelsea pay, the end. Number 4, Antoine Griezmann, approximately £105 million, Atletico Madrid to Barcelona in 2021. Who knew signing a counter-attacking goal scorer and playing him at left wing in a possession-based team wouldn't work out? Apparently Barca didn't, as they decided to fork out €120 million to the La Liga rivals for their star striker. The Frenchman arrived as one of the most prominent goal scorers in La Liga, but struggled to find his feet at the Camp Nou to say the least, netting a meagre 38 times in 114 games. Given his reputation, price tag, and Barca's general dominance versus the weaker sides in La Liga, this is a very disappointing return. To say things didn't work out here would be the equivalent of saying that Hindenburg had some minor technical issues. As an extra slap in the face to La Blaugrana, and no, I will not put on a fake Spanish accent, Griezmann was sold via loan with obligation to buy for a cut price, €17 million back to Atletico, and has been more like his old self since his return. Number 3, João Felix, approximately £110 million, Benfica to Atletico Madrid in 2019.
He's an imposter. He comes on like this. Your country needs you, and he comes on, hits a target. He's, what, 100 million?
Heralded as the next great superstar, having arrived for a staggering fee from Benfica, the eternal child is rivaling the likes of Lingard and Walcott in how long he gets to be a prospect who's going to break out any day now. The reality is, Atletico's streak of signing incredible strikers, including the likes of Aguero, Forlan and Falcao, came to a screeching halt when they spent an eye-watching €126 million on the Beatles cover band member. He's only scored 34 goals in 138 games during his time in Madrid, struggling to establish himself as a starter. After failing time and time again to live up to the hype, he's now on loan at Chelsea, where he can be described as truly one of the players they brought in January. Number 2, Eden Hazard, 88 to £128 million, Chelsea to Real Madrid in 2019. Eden Hazard was arguably the best player in the Premier League during his time with the Blues, being a key man in 2 title-winning sides. Chelsea managed to sell at the right time and cash in on their talisman right before a swathe of surprise injuries stopped his career in its tracks. It seems Hazard has spent far more time in the local Madrid hospital than on the football pitch, and prior to the disastrous World Cup embarrassment with his national side Belgium and Qatar, he publicly admitted he didn't believe himself capable of playing to the same level he displayed time and time again at Chelsea. A shame this one, but it's unrealistic to call Hazard anything other than a flop, although it does share a pleasing symmetry with his tendencies on the pitch. Before our number 1 pick, I would like to do a quick honourable mention for Antoine Dambeli, 63 million. Oh no, old man, please run, please. There's also an honourable mention for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 59 million plus Eto'o. Not as bad as others goal-wise or talent-wise, but he did threaten to be up his manager, while the outgoing Eto'o was pivotal to Inter Milan winning the Champions League. Number 1, Philippe Coutinho, 142 million, Liverpool to Barcelona in 2017. Coutinho's best moment at the Nou Camp was playing in the 8-2 route by Bayern Munich, for Bayern Munich, on loan from Barcelona. This transfer didn't work out, did it? Coutinho had been in flying form for Liverpool before Barcelona swooped in with a hefty 142 million for his services. Unfortunately, he completely failed to recapture that form, leading him to eventually be kicked out of the back door to Aston Villa, following a 2-year loan to Bayern Munich. Considering Liverpool reinvested that money in defensive stalwart Virgil van Dijk with some change left over, the fans will certainly be happy in hindsight, even if they were heartbroken at the time. The little magician has since made himself disappear as a relevant player on the the world scene, conjuring a nice comfy home on the bench of Aston Villa. And that's our list. Who do you think was the biggest flop? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to join the clan or I'll steal your carpet. Why not?